Hi, good afternoon, good morning, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you very much for joining me for the GSA's launch of its 2023 manifesto. So my name's Kerry Hallard and I'm the Chief Exec of the GSA, and I do apologise for the slightly late start, a couple of technical glitches again, and apologies for yesterday's postponement as well, which was due to, again, some technology glitches. So this is a highly ambitious presentation. So we have said we're going to do the presentation of the manifesto in 23 minutes for 2023, and we have got 23 initiatives that we're working on that we're going to share with you. So it's very speedy, very top level, but we really want to just spike your interest, and anything that resonates with you, we want you to get in touch with us so that we can discuss in much more detail. So without further ado, so those of you that are not too familiar with the GSA is a social enterprise. We are completely focused to doing work for the industry, for the benefit of growing the industry, to promote positive change across the technology and business services sector. We've been doing this for over 35 years now, and our focus is really today on promoting sustainable and ethical sourcing to create a positive future for our businesses and our shared planet. So we will continue to support and promote the technology and business services industry, as well as the strategic sourcing profession, to drive and adopt changes so as to boost the positive reputation of the industry so that it grows. So to set the scene very briefly, this is a slide we had presented by Genesis last year. The global outsourcing and shared services industry, as you can see, is continuing to grow. And by 2023, it is tipped to top the $1 trillion industry market size. Within this, the global contact center market industries also achieved notable growth. It expanded by 24% from 2018 through to 2023 to be worth $378 billion US. Taking a couple of headlines from this week's press, Management Today quoted that a quarter of CEOs admit that their business model will not be viable in a decade. And the top 5 business challenges, as published by Forbes magazine, are accelerated digital transformation, inflation and supply chain security, sustainability, immersive customer experience, and the talent challenge, all of which are absolutely in our sweet spot. So these companies need help to build resilience and to transform. And the technology and business services industry is absolutely front and center of assisting organizations to deliver these transformations and these changes. As such, I would say absolutely now is the time for us to shine. Companies do not actually have the resources or the capabilities themselves to do it for themselves. So they are going to be continuing and increasingly turning to the global technology and business services industry to help them transform and to help them transform quickly. So that leads me on to our vision for 2023. This is what success for us will look like. It's one global industry that cooperates and collaborates to give this industry a strong vision and voice for the future. One global standard of best practice that buyers and providers can be accredited to around the world to drive efficiencies, effectiveness, and deliver true value back to the business. And also, and this is new and a real desire of mine, that we have a robust and real social value movement. So this industry can and should be seen to be at the avant-garde, right at the leading edge of true social value delivery. So we have an ambitious vision, but it's a realistic one. And when delivered, I truly believe this will deliver seismic benefits to the industry and all those operating within it. So we have developed our 2023 manifesto to support that vision. And our manifesto has global best practice as our overarching strategy. And then we have some key areas of focus that we've pulled together for our many initiatives. So those are a key focus on talent, a key focus on social sourcing, and an ongoing key focus on innovation. This manifesto has been developed by the industry for the industry. So it's been developed and evolved and fine-tuned based on conversations with numerous companies, members, industry influencers, analysts. So as I go through some of the initiatives that support the overarching objectives, please do make a note of any of those areas that you personally would like to get involved with. And of course, if there's anything that we've not touched on and you really think we should be getting involved with, then please also reach out on that matter. So starting off with global best practice. So we're going to continue with the work we've been doing with our partners within the Global Technology and Business Services Council. This is an alliance of 12 of the leading industry associations for global technology and business services all around the world that we've been working closely with for over 2 years now. So we had a meeting yesterday where we concluded that we should work collaboratively on one global view of the industry. So we'll be doing some research that looks at the plans for ongoing use and satisfaction with outsourcing and shared services, but also a different research that looks at collating all of the data from the different geographies on their size, their reach, their employment, their pay data, and bring that into one collective repository so that organizations have a better picture of the information of what's going on with different delivery destinations and the potential thereof all around the world. So we have united. It's now time to truly unify to one global view of the industry. So as I've already said, our entire programme is really about developing and disseminating best practice across all aspects of strategic sourcing, across the full breadth of the sourcing ecosystem, from the buyers and strategic sourcing functions through to those organisations that deliver the technology and business services or advise or comment on them. So our ambition is to look at making that global, and working hand in hand with our US partner IAOP, we are currently exploring the opportunity to create one global standard that strategic sourcing functions and suppliers can become accredited to. So we have united. It's time to unify this to one global view of industry best practice, a view that is independent and verified by hundreds, if not thousands, of unique organisations around the world. This industry is by its very nature global. Yet I believe that we continue to hold it back by confusing both buyers and service providers by developing different national skills frameworks all around the world, using different language and classifying roles and competencies and capabilities differently. Again, we have united, and it's now time for us to unify this to one global view of the competencies and capabilities of the professionals working in our industry. So we're going to start this by looking at the roles within the CX industry, so that the buyers all around the world can more easily understand what they are buying from the different delivery destinations. So on this programme, we are actively working with partners in South Africa, Egypt, the Philippines, and the United States to start creating commonality of competencies and capabilities for our global profession. The future of CX. So in addition to creating commonality of language and skills frameworks, we will look to work together to create one global vision for the future of the CX industry and profession, a vision that will elevate the industry from the misperceptions of culture to being what they really are. That's the brand advocates that are dedicated to resolving customer queries to deliver both customer retention and upsell opportunities to companies. This work will attract more professionals into the industry and to keep them staying in our industry. And it will also ensure that their pay enables good livelihoods for workers and their families wherever they are located. So when negotiating CX agreements, we truly believe that we must remember that we are effectively buying people at the end of the day, and this can no longer be a race to the bottom. And our best practice that we'll be developing will safeguard against that. Standardization. So I think it's a fairly common practice across lots of industries, but our industry has been a little bit slow off the mark, but we are getting there. So, what is the point in wasting time and money reinventing wheels if there are tried and tested industry documents available to use? So the GSA contracting workstream has been working on developing GSA standard terms for professional services agreement throughout 2022. And it's in very, very final draft, and I'm pretty certain we'll see the final version published in the next week or so. So our contracting work streams continue to work on new contracts. Coming down the line, we'll have the GSA NDA in Q1 of this year, and then we'll be working towards a independent contractor contract as well. And all of GSA standard terms are going to be suitable to be used across common law jurisdictions. So a movement towards standardization of contracts to begin with, and this is going to increase in momentum. Just as standardization speeds up the process and adds value, so does agile sourcing. But more than that, it enables buyers to totally find the best partner by really experiencing what it would be like to work with them throughout the RFP process. So we aim to develop both thought leadership and best practice around how to do agile sourcing well. So we've got a new dedicated work stream on the subject of agile sourcing. So that's a top level view of some of the work we're doing on best practice. Moving now on to social sourcing. So thanks to the UK Government Social Value Act, now 10% of marks within government RFPs are awarded to social value. But that begs the question, what really is social value? So we are seeing anything from painting playgrounds to giving jobs to apprentices and everything in between being lauded as social value. Now, I have a fear, just like we've seen greenwashing, that we could see social washing. So we have developed a new work stream that's going to be completely dedicated to social sourcing, which is going to make sense of all of this and publish guidelines on the what and the how of social sourcing, as well as what good social sourcing really looks like. So ESG is clearly on every board agenda, and of course it's in our programme. So I believe as an industry, we're pretty good at the environmental piece. We've always been very good at the governance piece, but as a people-related industry, I think our focus on areas of improvement really needs to be on the social piece. So as another example of our move towards standardization, we've developed a standard questionnaire for buyers to use to ascertain the sustainability of their service providers. So what we were seeing is that all of our enterprise buyer members were grappling with developing a questionnaire to gauge sustainability across their tier 1 service providers. And all of the service providers were suddenly becoming inundated with questionnaires from all of their customers. Every questionnaire was different. And if there was some commonality in the question set, then the metrics that were being used were completely different, hence comparing apples and pears. So we've developed a questionnaire for the industry to use. That's in circulation. So anybody wants to see that, please do get in touch. We will share that with you. But the question is now, where do we go from that? Do we actually go for the GSA being the repository and the holder of the data of service provider sustainability? And do we actually take it to the next level of actually creating an index for service provider sustainability, so those organizations that really are at the leading edge can help the rest of the industry to improve? So we have, again, a dedicated work stream focused on improving service provider sustainability. And within that, assisting them on their journey to net zero. We've got some absolutely fantastic examples of service providers committing to a net zero, CGI being one of them, and being willing to share all the work that they're actually doing on their journeys. We want to elaborate on that and extend that. So we want to build a repository of all the activities that organisations in our industry are doing to help them on their journey to net zero, whether that be, you know, the single use of plastics in canteens, all the way through to obviously reducing emissions, the way that they're looking at, you know, green data centres, all the way through to things like minimising waste through, you know, use your own device schemes. Obviously, our ideal would be that we could declare an industry-wide net zero pledge, but I think that might be a plan for 2024, let's see. But anyway, if you are passionate about all things environmental, then please do get involved with our work streams there. So, as I've already said, you know, we're a people industry, and this is a really important and a topic that I'm massively passionate about. So working with the Global Technology and Business Services Council, we have already agreed a definition for impact sourcing. So in short, impact sourcing focuses on giving long-term and meaningful employment to disadvantaged individuals around the world. I think our industry should be, you know, front and centre of all things impact sourcing, and this should be, you know, a massive beneficial contribution our industry can make to benefit the global population. So we're now currently working with IAOP's Centre for Social Impact, and we're going to collaborate and explore the opportunity of developing at least best practice for impact sourcing, with the potential of developing a standard for assessing impact sourcing across our industry. Supplier diversity, again, a really important subject, well within the social aspect of ESG. We're going to continue the work that we do as a founder member of the Council for Supplier Diversity UK. We just had a Supplier Diversity UK Council meeting this morning, and our objectives are to publish tangible research on where organisations currently are on their supplier diversity journeys, to publish a best practice guide on how to embark upon a supplier diversity programme, to review the entire accreditation process to see if there's a way of simplifying and making more sense of the numerous different accreditations that are actually out there, and to create a code of conduct for how enterprise buyers should work with diverse suppliers, specifically in the RFP process. So lots of work being done, and a big event coming up on the subject of supplier diversity for our work with the Council of Supplier Diversity UK. Responsible automation. We are, of course, big advocates of automation. It drives efficiencies and takes the meniality out of lots of processes and provides much greater enjoyment to lots of jobs. But of course, it needs to be done responsibly. I think we should have learned from what we did with the manufacturing industry and the shipbuilding industry. We cannot leave huge swathes of the population by the wayside ever again. So we at the GSA are huge advocates of skills convergence programs, and we're going to continue to bang the drum about how to automate responsibly. So some of the skills convergence programs that we're seeing and we're sharing, to give an example, are, you know, the role of bookkeepers and accountants being the skills being transferred into highly sought after professions such as data analysts. So responsible automation, skills convergence programs is going to be core. After all, we are in desperate need of talented and skilled people in our industry right now. And that moves us very nicely on to our talent agenda. So in addition to looking at the commonality of competencies and capabilities across our industry, Obviously, I said we're doing that specifically in the CX industry in the first instance. We are committed to all things talent across our industry. So the GSA has evolved its approach to training. So in addition to its original approach to class-based training, we now have a whole suite of video-on-demand tutorials, which are delivered by none other than our Associate Director of Professional Development, Chris Holwood. We've got about 8 or 9 videos in the repository at the moment, and we are going to continue to add to that, as well as our traditional approach to upskilling. And obviously, we will continue to offer in-house skills development programs for both buyers and service providers alike. So a commitment to continuing the upskilling of our profession. Of course, we've having to have a look at the future of work, the future of working from home, the future of hybrid models, and how that's evolving in the UK and all around the world. So we'll be bringing the thinking and the research from our partners across the Global Technology and Business Services Council to share back what the future of work is actually looking like all around the world. So to share an example, the team at IBPAP have recently done some research, and 70% of Filipinos working in our industry have cited that it's the flexibility to be able to choose where they work, when they work, is key to them and is what's keeping them working in this industry for our companies. Workforce and well-being obviously are of paramount. So whether it's our menopause cafes or our mentoring programs, we're going to continue to look at workforce well-being. So if you've got any programs to share, we are obviously really keen to hear from you. Some of our members have now attained great places to work and have got some fantastic case studies on how they're ensuring well-being for their workforce that really are very inspirational. So we will continue sharing those case studies. DEI, obviously hugely important agenda item. We will again this year be publishing the gender pay gap data from across our key service providers. And of course, we'll continue to share the DEI programs. So we've had some great submissions into our awards programs for DEI programs that really look at all sorts of diversities and how to motivate, stimulate, and ensure that we are bringing that inclusion into our companies and into our industry. Open Talent. So for the last 18 months, we have been running our Open Talent Forum. So Open Talent is really looking at accessing the freelance community, whether it's from talent platforms, whether it's through crowdsourcing, whether it's through gig working. So we started it off very much as a 101 on Open Talent. But now we're really moving into developing, much more complex best practice on how you can build an open talent platform directly, or how you engage with open talent platforms compliantly. So our Open Talent Forum work will continue, and I, hand on heart, believe that open talent is going to be one of the biggest game changers facing our industry. One digital framework. So again, working with the Global Technology and Business Services Council, we are also looking at the opportunity for one digital skills framework for digital literacy to transcend geographic borders. So there's a load of best practice underway there that we're looking at sharing globally on digital skills. I think that also nicely leads us on to innovation. So innovation is the lifeblood of our industry. So yes, open talent is an innovation. Agile sourcing is an innovation. Innovation runs through absolutely everything we do. But most innovations today have some touch point with technology. So our industry is, after all, about technology-enabled business service delivery. So the GSA will continue with its Sourcing Tech series. This is monthly seminars, webinars, promoting the benefits of the new technologies that are coming down the line and how you can source them. We will continue with our work on tech for good, and we are hoping to run our first of many events in the metaverse directly in the very near future. Of course, as cited in the Forbes article at the beginning, digital transformation is the holy grail. This is going to remain a key theme across, within all of our events, and we are encouraging our members to share their digital transformation stories, warts and all, so that we can share learnings and improve the successes of digital transformation. The ecosystem is changing, and it's changing on a pin. We are seeing that it's no longer the domain of, enterprise buyers working with tier one service providers. There is a really vibrant ecosystem coming together of all sorts of different size organizations, all different types of organizations, to deliver best in breed solutions. But we've heard from many of our enterprise buyers that they're absolutely fed up of being sold snake oil, from vendors peddling their wares and saying that they've got solutions and they've got the nirvana, which quite frequently they don't have. So we're going to continue to run our Entrepreneurs Club, reviewing new technologies and bringing proven new technologies to our members through our information exchange programs. And we're also seeing the advent of really exciting new models for our industry, such as from the Intelligent Automation Collective, which is looking at, bringing collectives of technologies together to simplify the entire sourcing process and the delivery of technology stacks for service for enterprise buyers. So the sourcing ecosystem is continuing to evolve at speed. Of course, all use of technology needs to be done ethically, and there's a lot of talk about ethics in AI in particular, who's responsible. We will be developing new guidelines that help members understand how to ensure the use of technologies are ethical when they source them, and who should be responsible throughout the lifetime of their use. Is it the domain of lawyers? Is it the domain of procurement? Lots of questions to be answered with best practice there. So believe it or not, that's a whistle-stop tour of 23 of the different initiatives we've got underway at the GSA. And I believe if we implement just a fraction of those programs, we will be helping achieve the vision of really delivering one view of one global industry, working to one global standard, delivering true social value, and positioning ours as the most progressive industry, truly perceived to be leading edge. But of course, we can't do it alone, and the whole is, to quote Aristotle, is greater than the sum of its parts. So this is all being done for the industry, by the industry. So we really need the industry to work with us on delivering this program if we are to benefit the industry as the whole, as we really intend to do. So we want to hear from any of you on your ideas, how you can help, where you're willing to roll up your sleeves and get involved. We do run a GSA Social Value Leaderboard, which really looks at applauding and highlighting those companies that are giving back to the industry by sharing their best practices. So this was the Social Value Leaderboard we published at the end of last year. We will continue to develop, hone and promote and applaud those organisations that really do care about the industry and deliver to the industry in our own social value leaderboard. So yes, our final shout out is of course that our industry needs you. If you are passionate about any of these aspects, please do get in touch, admin@gsa-uk.com, or via our website, or to me directly, kerryh@gsa-uk.com, and talk about how we can drive the change that we need to bolster the reputation of our industry so that our industry continues to grow and so that our industry continues to grow sustainably. So that's it from me. I'm just going to leave you with a couple of dates for 2023. We are holding our Festival of Sourcing. That's taking place on the 13th of June on the private island in Kingston upon Thames. And our Strategic Sourcing Symposium is going to happen on the 21st of November. Corporate awards are currently open for submissions, so please do check those out. They will close on the 28th of April with the awards ceremony being a black tie gala do on the 29th of June. And our professional awards will reopen for submissions in July. Yeah. So hopefully I've got that done within 23 minutes. So thank you very much for joining, and please do get in touch. Thank you.